Welcome to the Raw and a Half podcast, where we get real and then some. I'm your host, Jasmin.siri, and every week I will speak on topics that align with reprogramming the subconscious mind. I share my experiences and discuss how I navigate life consciously so we can reach higher heights and deeper dimensions of the mind to reach our goals from a healed and open place together. So, let's get started. Let's talk about embracing our unique paths. I finally got to the center of my own truth, that is. Sometimes it's easy for someone like myself to base my goal with the intention of saving my family or being the one that brings abundance or some type of financial gain to their life. But in reality, the slow burn of an artist's career means a lot of work with very little to be repaid for a while. And after that long while, you start to think, are my ambitions viewed as a stubbornness or a lack of awareness, an inability to grow up? This new year on January 1st symbolizes another year of such positive growth and character development, but it also, in the same breath, is a symbol of a financially unsuccessful year as well. And even though there is much to be grateful for, the lack of change in my day-to-day life, it eats away at my faith sometimes, and I start to second guess a lot. And I'm not proud to say it, but it is the truth. I started to ask myself, is it time to become a part of society in other ways? Basically, although I had fully accepted my role in this life as a writer, a speaker, creator, performer, it didn't make my shame of what my reality was in the process of being that any less present, especially when there wasn't much to show for the work that I had done but a number on a screen. So, if God forbid there was an emergency that called for financial arrangements or a serious decision making and I was needed, I wouldn't be able to do my part and truly help, and that just made me sad. I'm just doing the best that I can, and it made me feel defeated. If something were to happen to someone I love, could I afford the expense of a burial? Could I afford to take time away from my schedule and still afford my responsibilities? Is this life that I have chosen to sacrifice for? Is this unique path that I am on the fence of embracing slowly coming to an end? I think anyone that identifies with being the change maker, the disruptor, the generational curse breaker, we have this inner knowing that in order to do the work that we feel we're called to do and embrace this unique path, we have to develop a sense of normalcy around being our own safe spaces. I think because of who we are and how we think, and because of the unique paths that we chose, we have to protect the parts within us that the world just is not necessarily ready for just yet. Not because the world never will be, but so that who we are and the parts in us that will make great things is still existing in confidence on the day that the world finally will be ready for people like us. Embracing the path you choose, your unique path, requires a full acceptance of the responsibility that it is to be the difference. It's honoring your selfish needs because you feel you are worthy instead of existing in the guilt that comes with maybe putting yourself first every once in a while. It's feeding the fire within yourself so that your light is able to guide others by your own authentic truth. And during this time of year where everyone is probably rushing to get to their families and spend time enjoying the holidays with the people that they love, this time of year often feels different for the change maker or that generational curse breaker. Because when you grow aware enough to start to question how you may be perceived by the important people in your life and the people that you love, To know that maybe you're the first in your family that chose your unique path over a life of security and stability most times. It's hard for anyone not to feel self-conscious about blazing a new trail. And sometimes, underneath the confidence that we carry about who we're destined to be or what we're meant to do, the reality is sometimes we do get a little affected and disappointed when the people that we love unintentionally express their fear for us, experiencing the disappointment of not necessarily reaching that goal that we have our hearts set on, and the toll that it takes on our spirit when we are not able to fulfill our dreams. And usually that feeling of fear is often more expressed from them than them actually being inspired by our decisions to keep pushing the needle forward. And as much as we can assume that their behavior is rooted in love, but that they just don't quite understand us, I can double back and easily call it all a projection of our own self-conscious and our own insecurities about the paths that we do choose. This was a knock in the chest for me, because it was the very difference between existing in a reality of my betterment or on a path where I would experience the most friction and resistance. If it all started in my mind, what was my mind telling me about who I was? The most important part of embracing your unique path is defining what character you play in the story. Are you the one that succeeds? Are you the one that always gets its way? Or are you the dog that never has its day and is always looking towards the disappointment that you may experience because you're so used to being disappointed in the past? I couldn't recall multiple moments in my life where the people that loved me were critiquing the decisions that I made. I think ultimately I was my biggest critic of the decisions that I made about my life and choosing the path of an artist. As much as I knew it was a large part of me and it was nothing that I could change, there was a small piece of me that wished that I could have done something different, or maybe my life would have been easier if I just was good at something else. So I was around all of these people that loved me and embraced me and honored the fact that I chose to be an artist for a living, but I still felt this fracture in my relationships. And often when I felt the fracture in my relationships or the discomfort amongst people and the insecurities that lied within, but nothing really tangible that I can remember that could be the root of this feeling, I knew that there was something more to touch. I knew that there was something deeper that I can go within myself and I would find myself at the center of. And I think that's where I've been for the past month. Lately, I haven't been myself. I haven't really been inspired to say much of anything because I had this feeling lingering in the back of my mind. So if you have any similar feelings, if you feel like I am speaking on a topic that is in alignment with where you are in your journey, let me know in the comments below. I hope this conversation that I'm having with myself and my higher self will bring clarity to the conversations that you're having with your own. If this has ever been you, if you have ever met yourself at a crossroads in life where you have to make serious decisions, especially as an adult, it's very scary. I want to reassure you that you are not the only one. I am there too. But also, these won't be the only crossroads that we'll meet in our paths. So it's very important that we aren't getting stuck in these decisions that we have to make. And life is all about the decisions and the resilience that we have after we make those decisions, and trust that our hearts are guiding us in the direction of our soul's journey, our soul's path, and that's what's more important. If you have ever tried to distance yourself to keep away from hard conversations around your path, or if anyone around you is forcing you to feel more sure about where you are or where you should be, it's just going to have to annoy you because it doesn't work that way. And there is no amount of love that a person can bring into your life that will allow you to just automatically know what to do and where to go and what to do with the time that you have. sometimes things just take time. And embracing the unique path also comes with accepting that where you're going is like no place you've ever been. So there's nothing you can do about the newness except for surrender to it. And it's no one else's job to surrender to it but you. So what everyone feels or the opinions that they have for you trying to make sense of what is so new to you is really none of your concern. And that's just something that we have to learn to do as time goes on. Because honestly, time is happening to all of us. Everyone is trying to figure out the best ways to occupy that time, or they're not. As in, they're not even thinking about it, they're just taking it one day at a time. So, what someone else feels about the ways you're utilizing your time here should just not be as important. It can be important if you want to honor your family in ways that you feel like would be respectful for yourself and others. That's one thing, but to a certain degree, when you're an adult and you're making decisions for your life, you belong to your family, but you don't belong to them. So your life is yours, and what you decide to do with it is your responsibility. And that should make things more exciting. That you're choosing to do these things and live for yourself, not for the good night's rest of the people that love you and want to protect you. And as much as people want the best for us, only we know what our best is. So let's take a deep breath and just remember, we know our best more than anyone else knows what's best for us to a certain degree. So to find your unique path, what is your soul telling you it needs to do? And are you brave enough to lean into it and face the discomfort head on and develop a sense of confidence in your choices or your soul's choice? Whether you figured it out or whether you haven't and you're trying to explore new things that you feel like you might want to do. Surround yourself with more artists. Even if they're not existing in the same artistic expression as you, I think they exist with a level of grace that most don't. You know, we are forced to embrace the duality of this life, being an artist, because we can make beautiful things and exist in the crappy parts of life that we choose to curate art in the reflection of. So in the meantime, and with yourself, get over the guilt of the path you chose, because that's keeping you from really enjoying the fact that you've actually found your path. It's like you're on a journey waiting for a path to light its way, and one has literally done that. But because the path is illuminated and you're afraid of people seeing you walk, you're just deciding to kind of do other things. You're skating around it. You're kind of halfway in, halfway out, not really taking full steps because of what it will look like you're doing. And for a long time I did that. I didn't want people to know that I actually wanted to do a certain thing and what people would feel that I actually chose a path. And then after a while, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of letting that stop me from actually taking full steps or going all in, because I'm spending all this time judging myself or perceiving this judgment from people I don't know is happening. And in 10 years, I'm going to be nowhere, still wanting the same things that I want. It just didn't make any sense. No one in this world made me feel insecure about the path I chose. And if they tried to say something shady, it was I who gave them the power to do that. I was bringing that insecurity onto the path I went on because it wasn't one of luxury or accolades. I have to remember that this is the job that I asked for. And I just recently voiced that out loud to one of my close friends. Like, you know what? I finally reached a point in my adult life where I realized success to me does not look like this super masculine, money guru, billionaire version of myself. It just doesn't. And I'm more than okay with that. And I'm more than okay with saying that out loud and not really caring what other people feel about that being my truth. For a while I did. And I think that was a part of society making a decision about what success was supposed to be for me, not what success actually feels like for me. In my opinion, to have something to offer this world because of my perspective, to make my communication a clear translation of my own heart and the ways that I feel, and just having the bravery to say it out loud and build community by it, that is my success. That is my power. That is my magic. And the people I love may never gain from that path. And as much as I feel like I owe them my life for raising me and giving me so much and sacrificing so much to bring me into this world, I don't owe them anything at all. I may not be the billionaire for them or for myself, but I will be whole because I chose to do what my heart wanted, what my soul wanted. And no matter what, I sacrificed so that what my soul wanted and what made me feel good when I woke up in the morning was always at the forefront of my mind. You are absolutely right. I am self-centered, and I think there is a part within us all that would thrive and feel so much better if they centered themselves 10 times more than they centered other people around them, or centered the needs of other people or the opinions of others more than themselves or their own. I think it's very important to create a sound relationship with your soul's desires. I'm interested to see what the world would be if we just decided to center ourselves a little bit more, because there's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, I feel like my life would be miles beyond what it is now if I decided to center myself the way that I am now 5 years ago. So what do you feel you're called to do? If you feel comfortable with sharing, let me know in the comments. If you've been watching any of my videos, or if you've been listening to any of my topics on Spotify or Apple, and you've been trying to discover you've been really intentional about dieting the mind, paying attention to what you choose to listen to, really trying to level up and make a difference in your life. If you finally decided what you wanted to do, and I was a part of your journey in any way, I'd love to know. I'd love to hear about that, because I'm super honored to be a part of that journey with you. If I'm saying anything that's helping you make a difference in your life to be that very best version of yourself, that's me doing what I am supposed to be doing. So let me know, and I appreciate you guys so much for just allowing me to be a part of this very special moment in your life where you're so intentional about everything that you're consuming, everything that you are telling yourself. And I am just so honored to be a part of that bug in your brain that's telling you that you can. So, what do you feel you're called to do? And are you proud to say it out loud, even if it means on paper most would not understand or necessarily take seriously the desires of your own heart? No matter what, set an intention to step towards what feels in alignment with you unapologetically, as crazy as it seems. Because when you have an intention and have gone through the steps of delusion so much for so long, you see this particular vision clearly, and it easily becomes the only thing that matters, so you'll protect it. Protection sometimes looks like choosing distance and solitude in a way that will stretch you because you're pushing a needle forward. You're actually intentionally distancing yourself so that you can preserve the energy that you need to do what you actually want to do. Don't allow your alone time to go in vain. And I say that because for years, or even days before I knew what I wanted, my alone time was just emptiness. And they still are sometimes. But when it was happening more often after I decided what I wanted to do, there was a point where I had to protect myself from the version of me that was so used to not having a purpose and intention. I had more to do. I had more to say. And because it was so easy for me to lay back and, exist in the lack of intention, I had to develop some type of friction against that to polish myself for my desired result. I think what's been really helpful for me as I'm navigating being a little bit more direct and intentional about embracing this path that I chose, as opposed to being ashamed or, afraid to actually walk this path, is making my own traditions, especially around this time of year, where I don't have any children. There's nothing necessarily special about the holidays, I think, until you have like kids and you're wanting to do all of the cute little Christmassy elf stuff. But for me, I'm trying to find ways I can build traditions about the ways that I take care of myself. Towards the end of the year, definitely in December, I don't know if you noticed, but I've taken a break, and I felt like I needed this break because of the ways that I felt. And it always happens around this time of year, and I always used to say it's seasonal depression, but I genuinely think I'm just exhausted, and why can I not take December and give myself the rest that I need, or the slow pace that I need to enter into the new year like I want to? I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And so it's been a tradition for me to use December as a time to slow myself down. And I was resting, I was eating, I even got a cold. It was so weird. I couldn't speak over the mic. So it was like my body was, even when I wanted to get back to it, my body was just like, no, you need more time. There's something else. And so I was sick for like a couple of days, but I'm happy that I'm past it, and I'm getting into it slowly but surely. Even this episode, it is something that I wanted to start the new year off with, because it was time for me to set new intentions for the new year. And I think December is just a month that traditionally I slow myself down and readjust to bring more intention into the new year. And yeah, another important thing that I completely stopped doing, but I need to get back to, is writing things down. For a very long time, I didn't have a laptop, and it was just hard for me to use my phone or any type of digital device to journal. I always had a sheet of paper, always had a pen or a pencil, and everything was written down. And just recently I saw an old journal that was left in my car from the transition, from the move, and I just read through it, and I was just so shocked that majority of the things that I wanted that I wrote down, they were so close to me, or they were already here. And I'm like, wow, I need to get back to this. So I'm actually going to start getting into actually writing in my journal, because I actually want to finish my journal in 2025. Wish me luck. All these cute little journals and stuff, but I don't be finishing them. And it's like, I don't need to be buying more books if I'm not finishing them. That's one thing. And lastly, I think it's like having conversations, even if it's just having conversations with yourself, because low key, that's what I'm doing with y'all. But if you have anyone nearby, like even when I was speaking to my close friend Daisha about like, hey, like I might not be this person, and like I'm 30 years old. I had these expectations from being younger and what I thought my life was going to be, and now that I'm sitting in this present moment right now, being the age that I always dreamed that I would be, not really having the things that I thought that I would have, the perspective that I have is so much more. It's worth so much more. And it's really having those conversations with another woman, or it's just someone close to you that understands, it's okay to not be where you thought you would be. And sometimes you're better off not being there. Not to say that, you're not reaching your goals is a good thing, but I'm saying, sometimes the things that we wanted in our past are not necessarily good for us, or the versions that we are now. They're nowhere near what we are capable of or what we should be doing. So I'm happy that things didn't turn out the way that I wanted to when I was 16, because I don't know who I would be, and whoever that person was, I don't know if she would be as happy or as proud to say she is who she is today, I think the holidays always just uproots a lot of things in me because I like to take a step back and do a review of the year that I've had, and everything that I've gained hasn't been anything physical that I could touch or see. It's all been this really internal thing. Or if the internet were to disappear, there's no, I can't, I can't really do much with it, but it's grown me in such a way mentally that I have become a new person. If you had been watching me from the beginning, it's like everything kind of looks the same to a certain degree, but it's transforming me because of the repetition and the consistency. And that's why consistency is so important, which is why I made that damn video. It's because it's stretching your mental capacity by the ways that you're able to keep going, or like you're building resilience. And it's such a wonderful thing. And even though the month of December started very quiet, very low, very slow, I don't really exist in the shame anymore from not being consistent, because I know eventually this is something that I live to do, and I'm always going to do it. And when you have that type of confidence that you don't care about the pace, all you care about is the direction, that's how you know you fully embrace the path. When creatives are talking about experiencing a creative rut, and that's how you know you're an artist, is when you have that experience, you have that block. That's all a part of the journey, and it's something to be embraced just as much as the flow and creativity. Because, you're not always going to be in flow, and you're not supposed to always be in flow. And I think that is a type of madness that even when you are there, you want to be able to cut off at a certain degree. So yeah, you guys, I wish I could say I had a lot more figured out. I don't. And I'm okay with that, as long as other people are not judging me for it. I showed up today. Did I show up yesterday? No, but I'm here today. And tomorrow, who knows? But I'm just happy that I chose to show up today. I'm happy that I chose to exist here with you guys and really express what's on my heart, because I've been getting on my boyfriend's nerves, just talking him up, and I needed to get back here. Whew. Okay, I think that is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for making it to this far into the episode. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at jasmin.siri, and I will see you guys in my next one.